in today's Sunday preview, they have released new information about what is going to be on pre-order for this Saturday. And for this Saturday's previews, it's going to be some of the Be'lakor, and that has me very, very excited because as me who has been following the Broken Realms storyline, it is pretty interesting. Also very interesting that they've released it so quickly after having released the Broken Realms teclis, which if you haven't picked it up, you should. It's a pretty good read. So it's pretty exciting. It means that Games Workshop is back in regular production, more than likely. The fact that they're actually trying to boost up the production for this Broken Realm sagas. It is very interesting. It probably means that they're going to be wrapping up the Broken Realm series pretty soon, more than likely, since they've also said that they already mentioned the fourth book when they had mentioned Be'lakor at the same time, which is very, very interesting at the fact that they did that. I feel like that is because maybe they're getting ready to release the third edition of Age of Sigmar, and at the end probably of the fourth book of the Broken Realms, they had also mentioned Kragnos, Broken Realm Kragnos, and it's very interesting at the fact that they're releasing 1 month after they released Broken Realms teclis, they're releasing already Be'lakor. My theories as to what Kragnos is if you haven't read about the Beastgrave, I am pretty sure it has to do with one of the gods of destructions, since it is the last of the alliances that does not have a god representing in the miniature side. So my theory is that it has to do with them. And also in Beastgrave they do talk about some creatures that live under the mountains, so it's pretty interesting at the fact that they mention Kragnos, that also that he comes from the mountains. It is very interesting. And if you also, my other theory, if you haven't read Broken Realms teclis, which as I said you probably should, is that very last conversation between Alario and teclis, at the fact that at the very end teclis does hear a scream coming from the realm of Ulgish. I believe it's pronounced Ulgish, all those weird names. He does hear some screams, and as many of you who know the lore would know, that is the realm, that is a sub-realm in between the realm of Haish and the realm of Ulgu, and that probably tells me that it has something to do with Malarian and Tyrion, since Tyrion was slightly mentioned there. So that has me very exciting, because for me, I want to see some Dark Elves. But back to the Sunday previews, I will be seeing Be'lakor in all its glory here. Pretty amazing, pretty dope. It's an amazing, very, very amazing. It also will be used for 40k, but for me, I mostly play in the Age of Sigmar, so I would love to have this, but I don't really have any chaos armies. But I would love to try some paint schemes with it. It would be very interesting to do all of this, very detailed. It is just so amazing. And like I said, I'm pretty shocked that they're going to release it so soon. I was expecting it to at least next month, not really this month. So I will be pretty excited to pick it up and have a read. Another reason why I will be picking it up is because, aside from being a fan of the Dark Elves, I am also a huge fan of the Seraphon. For me, in the old fantasy games, in the old Warhammer Fantasy, I loved the Lizard Men. and when I play Total War Warhammer, it is always the Lizardmen that I pick. So for me, having these guys, I already have 2 of the Stegodons, so I'm pretty exciting to get at least this box. It should be a pretty good price. If it as the prices are as usual here in France, they're usually about 80 euros. It would mean that you're getting the Bastillodon for free, basically, or one of the Stegodons, depending on how you want to pick it. But that's basically, if they do by the prices that they've done, that is my theory, that is probably going to be the same price, since so far the prices haven't changed so much. So we're pretty good. As for the others, you also have Tzeentch. I'm not really, as I said, I don't really have any Chaos armies, so I don't know about this much. Also, the Caradon Overlords, I've also don't know much about when it comes to on the tabletops. Their lore is pretty interesting, so maybe I could try my hands in painting these. As for Lady Olinder, I already have Lady Olinder. This pretty much, it would have been it is interesting if you just want to start off, and also if the price is correct, why not, you can actually get it. But as I said, for me it would be mainly for the Stegodons here, for the Seraphons, and I'm excited to see what happens next on the Be'lakor series. I'm also interested to see how the Seraphon, Tzeentch, Death, and the Cauldron Overlords play a role into his machinations that he's working on, as to the fact that he's trying to basically overthrow Archaon the Everchosen. So I would love to know. And also, since they're mentioning about how they're gonna be releasing heroes and it's gonna be connecting all the books, I'm pretty interested to know as to how that last conversation between Ariel and Teclis is gonna play in this book, because they did have an entire conversation about how basically after defeating Nagash, they're gonna have an explosion of life. It probably has something to do with Kragnos, but I'm very interested to know what happens in this book. And aside from this being released today, I have seen the most beautiful sculpt I've ever seen when it comes to the Seraphons, since they finally, aside from the fact that they get the Underworld ones, get an updated Lord Kroak. It is just, I have no words for this. It is beautiful. It is amazing. I will be definitely getting this, since Lord Kroak is a must-have in most of the Seraphons lists if you are a list builder. But for me, Lord Kroak in the lore, everything that he has done, and just how powerful he is, it's amazing. Plus, it is beautiful. It is, look at all those details. It is just amazing. Also, the fact that it's very Aztec like, and at the same time so futuristic here, is like, what is this? What is that? We're like, he levitates, and that's how he, I don't know, propels himself. It is just amazing. But yes, for me, this is a must buy. I will be definitely picking this up. It's gonna just look amazing with my Seraphon army. I could already think a million ways to paint this. It is just amazing. This reminds me a lot of that Mayan blue that you see in the Aztec temples, in the Mayan temples. It is just amazing. It is so beautiful, so beautiful. So, as I said, Pretty amazing stuff, and I'm excited for the Broken Realms, this Broken Realms series that has been going on. It's an amazing series that they've been doing, Games Workshop. You can tell they have worked on how they're gonna bring up 3rd edition. This is definitely leading up to 3rd edition. I don't know if Kragnos is going to be the last of the Broken Realms books. At least I'm expecting at least one more. Maybe that has to do with Alario, because so far she has been playing pivotal roles in the background. But yeah, it's hopefully it's either Alario, or maybe it has something to do with Malarian, because it is so interesting that at the very end of both books, something about Malarian has to come out. At the end of Morathi, you had that creature that came out at the very end of the book and liberated the Stormcast Eternal. What is his name? I cannot remember the guy's name from the top of my head, but it was the guy who realized that Morathi had lied to Sigmar, and then she trapped him, she incarcerated him, and at the very end you had this massive wind creature that killed all the witches, the witch elves, and just liberated him and let him live. So, and then at the very end of Teclis, Broken Realm Teclis, Teclis heard some screams coming out from the realm in between. So I'm interested to know what is going on with Malarian, the realm of Ulgu. It is so interesting at the fact that Games Workshop it's kind of hinting as to possibility of future Dark Elves in Malarian, but not in the old Warhammer Fantasy way, but in a new way, more creature way. So I'm interested to figure out what it is, but interesting to know. As I said, beautiful sculpt with Be'lakor. Hopefully it's reasonably priced that we can afford it, especially at the fact that, you know, so many releases going on, so that wallet is crying. And Lord Kroak, the magnificence of Lord Kroak. But that is pretty amazing. So yeah, guys, tell me what you think as to how do you think these releases are going to be. Are you going to be picking some of these up? Are you excited for the Broken Realm series? Yeah, let me know what you're thinking about, and if you like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and you know, just share the hobby love, and have a good day.